When I purchased shares in Cable Bahamas was offering a service that I appreciated. And I thought, seeing that it was something new on the block, it was interested enough for me to be a part of it. They have a chance to be the number one, particularly in mobile field. You have already earned the right to be the next provider. You've earned that from Joe Public, from the Bahamian people.
No significant movement in Baha Mar talks. This as concerns over the future of Baha Mar employees persists. A change in entry procedures for Bahamians traveling to Canada, plus a road named in honor of a former NBA player. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts right now. Copy news tonight. Despite efforts by Baha Mar to reach an agreement with its contractor, Minister of State for Legal Affairs Darren Cash told NB12 today there has been no significant movement as far as the Bahamas government can see. However, he said government officials are waiting to see if those talks pan out. His comments come one day after Baha Mar's U.S. attorneys reportedly told a judge that CEO Sarkis Mirlian plans to commit $200 million. Vanik Toot reports.
American attorneys for Baha Mar reportedly told a U.S. judge yesterday that Baha Mar CEO Sarkis Mirlian is willing to commit up to $200 million to jumpstart that stalled project. However, Minister of State for Legal Affairs Darren Cash has questioned where that money is coming from, considering the company has consistently said that it is in dire financial straits since filing for a Chapter 11 bankruptcy in Delaware last month. Gomez also commented on ongoing talks and suggested little progress has been made.
Everything must be seen in context. I mean, to say I'm going to bring $200 million, I have to see what else they're talking about.
Any idea where he would have gotten this money from?
None. And that would be one of the concerns. Is it real? I mean, he hasn't said it himself. His lawyer said it. If you didn't have it last week, how come? I mean, it's not like $2. You know, where did this money come from?
According to a Reuters news report, Baha Mar's U.S. attorneys did not give details on how Mirlian plans to commit $200 million. It is also unclear where the money would come from. While Gomez expressed concern over this, he said the Bahamas government will see how Baha Mar's lender, China Exim Bank, and contractor China Construction America respond.
We watch and we wait to see the reaction of the other parties.
Gomez noted this matter would have been further ahead if Baha Mar had agreed to a guarantee enabling the developer to secure additional funding from its lender to complete the stalled project. Despite filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy last month, Baha Mar is currently trying to reach a deal with its Chinese lender once again. Gomez says as far as he is aware, the parties haven't made much progress.
We are waiting for the main stakeholders to see if they can reach agreement. We are not going to attempt to prejudice those discussions. There have been no significant movement as far as we could see.
Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson filed a winding-up petition against Baha Mar last week. Government is seeking the appointment of a provisional liquidator to manage Baha Mar's affairs in hopes of getting the project completed and operational. We asked Gomez how the appointment of liquidators would affect negotiations.
Well, no, negotiations with the principal of Baha Mar may still continue. It depends on what his posture is.
Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder has said he will hear the petition on July 31st. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vanik Toot.
Meantime, the future of more than 2,000 Baha Mar employees remain in limbo. A prominent attorney said all the public back and forth between the key players isn't helping. Kyle Joaquin has that angle.
Unfortunately, in a 24-hour news cycle and with social media and all of that, people feel the need to talk, whether one, they have any clue what they're talking about, or two, whether or not they have given it serious reflection.
We've seen the exchange of words from parties in the Baha Mar matter, even to the point where the mental state of Baha Mar's developer was brought into question. The ordeal surrounding Baha Mar has no doubt been a rough one for all involved, but what about the employees? That's a question attorney Wayne Monroe once answered. With looming uncertainty surrounding the 2,500 jobs at the resort, Monroe says public commentary from people whom he says have no need to speak on.
That's a societal change we have. In the good old days, people were more considered when they spoke. And the bad thing about it is all this backward and forwarding is, in my view, potentially causing undue stress to the workers and the employees down here, which is bad, because they are justifiably concerned about their futures. And to have all of this uncertainty added to by sometimes sheer crazy talk can't be good for their blood pressure and general health.
After having its application in the Supreme Court dismissed on Wednesday, Baha Mar released a statement saying it wasn't sure how the ruling affects employees. But in a letter to employees on Wednesday, Baha Mar's Vice President of Human Resources said, "You all continue to be citizens of Baha Mar at this point, and your employment status remains unchanged." Everyone from government ministers to members of the opposition, the DNA, as well as in the business arena, have chimed in. And with government agreeing to pay salaries of employees for the month of July, what will happen in August? And with many having left stable jobs for a career at Baha Mar. After having its application in the Supreme Court dismissed on Wednesday, Baha Mar released a statement saying it wasn't.
I think the government performed the masterstroke by saying, well, we owe you. We'll pay them from some of the money we owe you. And I understand that there may have been procedural problems in transmitting list of people owed. We have to be more concerned about the people, because businesses always manage to work themselves out.
Baha Mar sent the majority of its employees home on June 29th. Days later, hundreds marched in support of their boss, Sarkis's Merlion. The resort has advised its employees that it believes negotiations with its contractor remains one of its best chances of successfully completing the project. While the parties await the commencement of the winding up petition hearing set for next week, Baha Mar's bankruptcy matter continues in court in Delaware. Again, that winding up petition hearing is set to begin next Friday, July 31st. Reporting from Baha Mar for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram should be the one to observe and spearhead ongoing Baha Mar negotiations, according to former Free National Movement Chairman Darren Cash. The former senator said Prime Minister Perry Christie has not inspired confidence that he has what it takes to bring the Baha Mar matter to a resolution, and he should invite Ingram to step in.
If he is minded, if he has the courage to put his ego in check, my submission is that he ought to bring to bear the leadership, the gravitas, the experience, the confidence of the one person who has clearly demonstrated that he has the ability and the dispassionate outlook to be an honest broker in this process. And in my mind, Hubert Ingram is the person who ought to do that. And if Perry Christie is able to put his ego in check, he ought to ask Mr. Ingram to spearhead the process of bringing this to resolution in the shortest term possible.
Government has filed a winding up petition against Baha Mar. It's seeking the appointment of a provisional liquidator to manage Baha Mar's affairs with a view to getting the stalled project completed and operational. Cash said he believes that petition was an attempt by the Prime Minister to get even with Baha Mar CEO Sarkis's Merlion after being blindsided by the bankruptcy filing in the United States.
I think it was a manifestation of Perry Christie's burning desire to get even with Sarkis's Merlion for, in his words, blindsiding him. He did something that, in my view, ought not to have happened, and as the developer rightly pointed out, it could have been handled differently.
In other news, Foreign Affairs and Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell said on Thursday that there has been a change of entry procedures for Bahamians traveling into Canada that is set to take effect in March 2016. Mitchell said the change will require Bahamians to apply for electronic travel authorization before traveling to Canada. Simone Davis has the details.
During his speech at the Rotary Club of Nassau meeting on Thursday, Mitchell explained the new process, stating that individuals would have to apply online for electronic travel authorization, and the vast majority of ETA applications would be auto-granted by an electronic system within minutes of submission.
As of March of next year, Bahamians will no longer be able to fly to Canada at will, and you will have to apply in advance, get approval, and you will only be able to board the plane and enter Canada if you have that approval reference number on you.
According to Canada's official government website, travelers would be able to apply for an ETA online starting August 1st. The website also states that the new rules would not affect foreign workers and students already in Canada on a valid study or work permit. However, Mitchell added that those who hold a criminal record may be denied authorization.
All ETA refusals will be made by an officer only. Persons refused an ETA would be persons with a criminal record and/or known by Canadian authorities, the immigration or police, and the Canada Border Services Agency will provide a no board message to airlines prior to departure for Canada. Therefore, Bahamian nationals must apply for this ETA ahead of traveling to Canada.
Foreign nationals from more than 30 countries would be required to travel with an ETA, including Antigua, Australia, Barbados, Jamaica, British Overseas Territory citizens, and more. Those who plan to travel to Canada through another country would still need an ETA. Mitchell confirmed that the government has invested in an $18 million border management system designed by Canadian Banknote Company Limited that is expected to be completed in the next 18 months.
There's a new border management system that we are investing in. We hope that it's going to be rolled out over the next 18 months. It's going to cost us something like $18 million to do. New passports are coming. New exchanges available in databases, information databases for visa applications, work permits, border entry, and the hope and expectation is police, defense force, customs, immigration, and the customs, immigration, police, defense force will all be able to talk to one another across their databases.
He also mentioned that the Bahamian government has been in talks to sign a set of international agreements, which would allow the country to have advanced passenger information in order to determine who can enter the country.
When asked if he thinks that this new procedure would decrease the number of Bahamians traveling to Canada, Mitchell said it's only a matter of waiting until it's implemented to see what happens. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.